now, welcome to the Curious Ones podcast, where each week you're left curious on what we've talked about.
I'm Dan, and she's Sam. Not sure what we're doing here, but let's talk about it.
Today in history, I actually found two really interesting things about this for October 12th. So one of them, I didn't know this, but in 1998, today was the day that Matthew Shepard died. I don't know if you know who that is.
Not at all.
So I knew the last name because he's the reason that the Shepard's Act exists, which is actually hate crime legislation that was signed into however legislation works. However legislation works. Don't know. Not
arguably it doesn't.
Hashtag not legal advice. But so he's the reason that the act exists. It's I don't know the details of it, but it was enacted in 2009. But so Matthew Shepard, he was a Wyoming State student who was gay. And he was aggressively beaten to eventually die. He died, I think, a week after the incident. He was beaten so severely, he was I think he was almost basically comatose and then died from the injuries.
Oh, man.
And so supposedly, I don't remember if it was one or two, but the guy who beat him up stated that he was at first just gonna rob him, but then Shepard hit on him, and he was so absolutely insulted that he just beat the shit out of the guy.
Insane.
Yeah, and so, once he died, then there was a whole bunch of stuff. The Shepard's Act was created, and then it became legislation against hate crimes in 2009. And I did not know, I had heard of the Shepard's Act.
Is it hate crimes in general, or just finally inclusive of gay?
I think finally included gay. I'm not sure entirely.
I was going to be mind blown if it took until 2006 for 2009 for generic hate crimes, racial hate crimes.
I think it actually made it because obviously hate crimes had existed in that, and gay people were included in hate crimes, but it actually it made it part of legislation that beating someone up because they were gay was now a hate crime.
Yeah.
Regardless, beating someone up was fucking wrong. But, beating them up because of it, they were gay. Killing them because they were gay.
How much does that change? Does it include trans? Does it include that stuff now?
Right,
or is it going to take another crazy, insane thing like that?
Right, and I really don't know. I didn't look too deeply into it. I had heard of the Shepard's Act before, and I knew it dealt with hate crime. But I didn't know the story behind it, and to be fair, I don't know a whole lot of details about it now. But, I was that's insane that day is when he died. He survived for a week after having the living shit beaten out of him.
What was the... Yeah, that's insane. That's crazy.
But,
So wait, what else happened?
So that was really interesting. This one, so there was another one that I knew you would really enjoy because you've mentioned it before.
Oh, God.
Kind of, or it deals with something you've mentioned before. But so in 1979, in the UK, the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy hit bookshelves. Which, side note, just such a 180 from what we were just talking about.
Correct. That's
180.
Insanely different.
But I saw both of them and I was oh, this one's really interesting. And then I was oh, this one you'll really like. Because you keep bugging me to read the book. It's
an amazing movie, too. The movie's so good. There's a character that is just a depressed robot, which is played by Snape from Harry Potter.
Right,
and I'm just
Alan Rickman, yeah.
Oh, God, it made me love Alan Rickman so much more.
Right, and you told me about it, and I saw that, and I was oh, that's really interesting. But yeah, so, in the UK is when it hit bookshelves. It hit US bookshelves, I think, actually, it took another year for it to hit shelves in the U.S.
It's a very British book and movie.
And I did not know that the book was a 5-book series that was actually an adaptation of a radio series.
Oh.
It was a 4-part radio series that was adapted into the book.
That I wanted to know. Ooh, let's go back and listen to that radio series.
Right.
That
I did not know that, and it was pretty cool to find out. Also, interestingly enough, in the UK, it sold 250,000 copies in the first 3 months after publication.
Yeah, I mean, that all makes sense. It was so popular. But,
yeah.
Oh.
But I was really interested by that because I was like, I did not know that it hit UK shelves, and it took almost a year to hit the US shelves afterwards. Let alone that it was a radio series adaptation.
The radio series is the most interesting to me. Yeah, that's crazy.
Because you had told me that it... Because, like, I knew it was a movie, and then you were telling me about the books and that. And then I was, like, looking it up. And they're like, yeah, it was actually based off of an adaptation of a radio series. And I was like, interesting.
I like that. That's a great...
That's what I had for you today.
I love it.
That's what I had for today.
Definitely the first one is a 180 from... something like media that I love versus
hate crime
legislation from somebody being murdered for being gay.
Yeah. And like literally, and like with Shepard, it was just so weird, like not weird but flabbergasting that like his defense was like, well, he hit on me, so I beat the shit out of him instead of just robbing him. Like that's a great escalation.
Do you know the result? Was he...
I know he was sentenced. I don't remember if he... I think if I remember reading, it was like 25 to 30 years, or maybe it had been upgraded to a life sentence after Shepard had died. I don't remember. I didn't look too close into the court trial or anything like that. I really looked a lot into more of just the incident itself.
That's fair. All right.
But yeah, I was like, that was insane.
That's insane.
Both of those were really good ones. They're just two very different topics.
Very different tones.
But yeah, that's all I got for you for today's history lesson.
All right.
Okay.
Tune in next week for...
Who knows what?
Excitement. Maybe you'll get some middle of the road
no.
news. Nothing too crazy. Nothing too...
Nope, all off the walls. I don't know what happened. I don't think I figured out what we're doing next week. But no, I will find the craziest history fact.
That's fair.
Our second segment, which is Hot or Not.
Oh man, okay, and I've got you all interested in what I chose for my Hot or Not segment.
I'm so intrigued. I don't know what you picked, and I want to know.
All right, that being said, she just saw the screen. She knows my PowerPoint. I said I wanted a layup. I said I wanted an easy one to guarantee myself a point for the hot.
Holy shit.
I also just searched cartoons, and it was the first one that showed up.
That's great. Are we keeping score of who wins Hot or Not anyways? Are we keeping that score
of
that on the board? I think
I want to win, so of course I think we should do it. Because I just chose an amazing
layup
of a starting. All right, so my character I chose for Hot or Not. Hot or Not is a segment that I'm trying that is I choose a hopefully cartoon character or fictional character, and I try and persuade or get the other person to think they are hot or not. If you get hot, hopefully you get a point. We're going to be switching off, choosing for each other, trying to figure out each other's tastes. I think it's hilarious. Okay. The character I chose for this first week of Hot or Not is Kim Possible. I think it's the biggest layup. It's voiced by the sister from Even Stevens.
Oh shit, that's right, it is. I always forget that part. It
somehow looks like her in my mind. I think it's just the best. I mean, there's nothing about the show that I think wasn't just amazing.
Aces, yeah, honestly, love Kim Possible. It's the hair for me, just always the hair.
The green eyes. I'm like, okay, right. It's like, I don't know, I watch a lot of other things, and I'm just like, at least it's like a natural eye color. Like, right. Sometimes you'll see, like Danny Phantom, sick. No one has white eyes. Like,
right.
Yeah, it's insane.
Well, wasn't it that his eyes changed because of him becoming a ghost?
Yeah, it was hard to follow that one.
What?
Honestly,
I love Danny.
All right, well, try and bring it up and try and persuade me that it's attractive or not, because I guarantee you I'll say no.
Wait, are we picking the main character of the series? Or are we able to
you can choose whichever character you would like from the show. I chose Kim Possible as the first one. How do you not like someone whose best friend is Ron, who has a naked mole rat as a pet? I'm just saying, she's got a sidekick who is just a dude at a computer, which I guarantee you just started all Twitch streamers ever. Like, the dude is just a computer whiz who just stays at home.
Right.
Like, I would love... I think her character is just amazing. I think that
also
there's...
Also pants, let's be real.
Yeah. Yeah, that shouldn't be allowed.
It's the early 2000s design of just, like, the insanely huge pants and then the really skin-tight
tops. And, like, the waist is just insanely tiny and not possible. Yeah, it's...
But she's Kim Possible, so it's possible.
Yeah. I have a link to her wiki.
Oh, Jesus.
Because I did not spend the time to do all the notes that I should have.
Didn't do his homework.
Yeah, of course not. What else is new? It's just like school.
True.
They tell you... I get weirded out by
her middle name is Anne?
Yeah. I get weirded out by Wikipedias for characters like these because they tell you the age by season. So if you were attracted to season 1 Kim Possible,
you're attracted to like a 15-year-old.
She's 14 to 15. But if you're attracted to season 4 her, she's 17 to 18, which I think is always weird. I think it's always weird when you start putting ages on. It's like
because also anime, they don't age really when they're being animated.
I mean, she does go through high school, so like I guess
she doesn't. Her appearance doesn't age. Mm-hmm. Really.
I don't know. Some of it, if you watch some of her fashion, her look,
right? A little bit of it does, obviously, like. Because they have to have the character kind of keep up with the age group that they started with, but also, like, relevant enough that they're catching the newer kid.
What a sick name Possible is a last name. Like, what an insane... I get it, because it's supposed to be like, oh, it's anything's possible, whatever, but I'm like, what is just a sick name? Like...
Man, oh my gosh. So...
Ron Stoppable? Come on. Ron Stoppable. Definitely Stoppable.
Like, the most stoppable character right behind fucking, Oh, what was the villain's name?
Oh, God.
There's Shigo. Shigo?
Yeah, Shigo was the, assistant sidekick to the... Wade was our computer guy.
Right. Oh, Dr. Draken?
Draken.
Dr. Draken. Man, it's been so long since I watched this series.
God, yeah, what a crazy... look. Also, I've never seen a more, like... The fashion here also gives, like, SS officer German vibes to me.
Yeah.
So, like, it pulls it off really well.
Yeah. I didn't even... He does.
Yeah.
He does. Okay, so what else are you trying to do to convince me of this?
Alright, so I really... Again, I think this is such a layup. I don't even think I need to do that much to convince you.
There's really not.
Yeah, so, like, I'm just gonna go straight to the vote here.
Okay.
I'm, like, so confident. But do we think Kim Possible is hot or not?
Obviously.
Okay, good. Yeah, I was... Again, I said it was a layup when I asked. I was like, all right, which one am I going with? Should I challenge myself? Should I kind of go for the risky?
What was your challenge one supposed to be?
Oh, I'm always going to try and consider doing... I was going to do Cat Dog, because I was like...
No.
That would be very challenging.
Adorable. Kind of. A little freaky, but, like, adorable. I'll take them as a pet.
You get the right lesson where you get some, like, you know, them being, like, just... I think they're funny, which is a attribute you can go towards that can be something you want a partner. You just go straight for, like, best relationship goal. Like, you just highlight all the positives and try to belittle the fact that it is half cat, half dog that does not have the ability to go to the bathroom or make any sense at all.
Yeah. Yeah, that one would have been difficult for you to do. We probably would have been a challenge.
It would have been a challenge. But I still think, again, watch out for future episodes. I might try and sell you on Cat Dog.
I will cancel Hot or Not. I will cancel us before we start.
All right, well, I mean, the other one obviously was Lightning McQueen. Lightning McQueen's going to be the one that I'm going to convince you is an attractive car.
It's a nice car.
It might be my man brain being like, cars are attractive. We name all cars female car names.
I think it is your man brain at that point. But yeah, no, okay, yeah, bad. Yeah. On point. Obviously Kim Possible.
All right, I want my point, even though it was a layup. All right, so that was my hot or not. Okay. I'm glad I won. Yeah.
Tea time. Yeah, I'll get us some teacups.
Pinkies up.
Jesus, fuck. So tea time every week, we're going to pick a new different type of topic, whether we're talking about something random, we're reviewing Reddit, whatever we're doing. We just pick something random to talk about, bullshit around. This week's topic is the world of retail. I don't know.
Yeah, it's the world of retail. You know, I don't know if it deserves any of that glitz and glam that you just tried to give it.
I don't really know either. But so we're going to talk about the world of retail. Very specifically, we're going to go over, we looked up and found some interview questions for different retail positions, like some of the standard ones. And we're just going to go through and be honest about them.
Oh, we're going to be honest? I was going to roast the shit out of them.
Same thing, right?
Yeah.
Same thing.
The things I would have said at those interviews
right.
had I actually not wanted the job.
Right, the things I wanted to say at my job
Correct.
interview. Alright, so one of the questions that we did was, this is always the best one. Why do you want to work for us?
I have bills.
I have bills, you're hiring, you're paying barely enough that I'm willing to work here.
I'm thinking, like, first jobs, like, insane question to ask.
Right.
Why do you want to work here? Because I need experience to work everywhere else.
And you require no experience?
Or worse, they require experience, and I'm telling you that, well, I do chores around the house.
Right.
Does that count? I've mowed the grass once.
Does that work? I can be a landscaper. I mowed the grass.
Oh, no, I'd use that as a... You want to work where? I want to work at, McDonald's. Okay, do you have any work experience? Yeah, I've used a cash register before. It was the little play toy one when I was a kid, but same thing.
All play money, right?
Yeah, I can do mental math. I've played Monopoly.
Yeah. I suck at Monopoly.
It's fine.
Like, I'm great when I'm cheating.
That sounds about right.
But I suck at just playing the game.
That's me with life.
Yeah. The game or actual?
Oh, real life. No,
Okay.
no, it was not. I mean, the game, too, I bet. I'm probably pretty good if I was cheating at that, too.
Fair.
But...
Did you come in last when we played last time?
No, I won.
No, I won. When you were over for game night,
No.
I was the first one.
You were the first one done, but at the end I had the most
yeah.
moolah because I decided to go to college, and you decided to roll all 10s on the spinner, and I rolled all single digit.
I literally did.
You got done super fast with no money,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, that sounds like
I didn't have no money. I had money.
Compared to everyone else, we beat you by millions.
I don't think it was millions.
I thought it was millions.
I don't remember. That was a week or two ago.
Too long.
Too long. My brain span does not last for that long.
But work experience-wise, like, or why do I want to work there?
Right.
Like, is an insane thing to say. Like,
it's because you're hiring.
It's 95%. It's because you're hiring, or because I need a job, or this job might be better than the one I currently have, because it's usually switching jobs, and I'm like, because you're not. Maybe there's people here that are better than the hole I'm in now. Like,
right.
I don't need to be.
Because you offer $1 more than the other hellhole I was just in.
Exactly.
That's why.
But if you're answering it honestly, you come up with some.
Well,
clever...
I've had experience with the company. I've used your products, or like I've been here before, and I really kind of just like the atmosphere and the environment.
It has always been my dream to be a cashier here at Arby's. It's just something I've always strived for. Yeah, you gotta.
It's a goal in life. I've always wanted to have that prestige of bragging to my friends that I now run a cash register at the world's 10th largest fast food chain for barely minimum wage that I maybe can buy a loaf of bread from.
And then if you answer super honestly, it's like, oh, I want to add it to my name tag collection. Like, what's going on here?
Right.
All right, what's our next?
I do like adding name tags to my name tag collection.
I
have so many fucking name tags. I've now just added my girlfriends to my name tag collection because I'm like, these are now mine.
Bonus points, we'll throw it up on Twitter.
Yes.
Post the collection.
Oh my god, honestly. Okay, but yeah, that's always a great one because it's like, why the fuck do you think I want to work here?
Exactly.
Another one. Let's see. Your greatest strength and weaknesses. I hate when places ask this. Like,
am I going to be honest?
Right.
Like, no. It's like,
what is my greatest weakness? I am a ball of fucking anxiety.
Hi, depression exists.
Right.
Sometimes I just don't want to be here.
Right. What's my greatest strength? I'm alive. I'm breathing. I'm willing to do work for you.
Yeah, I'm at this interview. I made it here on time.
Right.
I don't get it. I hate the insane, like...
Right, I hated that shit. And, like, my school had what was called an independent living class, which they taught you how to do job interviews, basically. Like, there was other stuff that the teacher taught, but one of the big things that we spent, especially senior year, was how to build a resume and how to get a job from a job interview. And she's like, this is when you talk yourself up. She's like, make something good about yourself. Like, you're a perfectionist, make that your greatest weakness. And I'm like, but, bish, my greatest weakness is I want to nap an hour into the day.
That's your greatest strength, though.
My greatest strength is I want a nap an hour into the day, but I will never sleep.
Yeah.
I will never sleep. Hello, insomnia.
My greatest strength is I want to leave before I walk into work. Like, it's just, yeah, you're just like, I can keep morale at a base level.
Right. Oh, and bringing up morale, how do you stay motivated at work? How the fuck do you think caffeine, drugs, and just pure hatred? That might just be kitchen work, though.
Spite. I mean, to be fair, I don't think it's always... I mean, it depends on the job, first off. But we're talking about, like, retail. It's your job to keep me motivated. Right. If I'm unmotivated, guess what? It's because the job's that boring. Like, once you figure it out, I'll start a job, I'll be doing it for, like, a week. Once I figure out all the new things, I'm like, oh, I'm bored. I just do the same thing over and over again. It's all monotony. I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to stay excited about this.
Right. Or how do I stay motivated at work? I have a rent that needs paid. How do I stay motivated? Homelessness. The empty fridge in my apartment keeps me motivated because I'd like food in there.
The government. We get it.
My cat's yelling at me for wet food because they're bougie-ass bitches.
How do I stay motivated? I just try to avoid the people who yell at me. That's 80% of retail.
I love it. Okay, so this was a question that we wrote down that we were going to talk about. But I realized I've gotten it in other jobs that weren't retail. Like, I had a factory job that asked something really similar to it, which is how do you handle difficult customers? And the question that they asked me was, how do you deal with difficult situations or difficult coworkers? But, like, either way, it's all pretty much the same. I fucking ignore you because I just work here, bruh.
That's, one of my friends working in the kitchen's slogan is, I just work here. And I'm like, it's so true. Anytime a customer asks something more of you than you know, or even like just starts being crazy, just go, hey, I tell them what I can do. I either move them to a manager, they're not even getting, I feel bad for them, they're not getting paid enough. I know how much they're getting paid. They're not getting paid enough to deal with this. Right. But, just keep moving it up. I know I'm not getting paid enough for you.
I am the bottom of the totem pole. I can do jack shit for you.
I remember when I was working at like our customer service desk, and there was a customer who started yelling at one of our employees, at our cashier, and the cashier just started crying.
Oh, the poor thing. I hate when people do that. Like,
and then they come up to me and they start yelling at me like it's her fault that she did something wrong and that she deserves to be, maybe she needs to behave better. I'm going, all right, you don't know anything about this person.
Right.
I'm over here like, I know she's coming. This is her second job.
Right.
She's trying to, keep food on the table. This is just a side hustle thing. She comes in straight from work, comes here, goes to work as a cashier. I'm over here like, we'll give you a gift card. We'll take care of you, all this stuff. I'm just like, I cannot believe I'm rewarding this behavior.
Right. Like, that's the absolutely flabbergasting thing, is it's like, even when you diffuse it, you're rewarding their behavior. And they're like, oh, I get free shit from this.
Yep.
And it's like, holy shit. That's why I will admit the one thing at my second job, because I, work as a sales rep at one of my part-time jobs. And, we're able to have a little more control over what we're doing as sales reps rather than just cashiers, because we walk people through the process of, buying certain things.
Mm-hmm.
And, our register system isn't actually a register. It's a computer system that we input our inventory in and out of. So, we have a little bit more leeway. But, I love whenever I have, just assholes coming in. And they are so aggressive and so, nasty about, they just want to buy one thing. But, you pay more when you buy just one thing because they do a bundle discounts. And I'm like, no, you're going to want to buy more than that. And they're like, no, I don't want to buy more than that. And I'm like, well, then I can't help you. I'd rather you leave my store than have your shitty-ass little sale.
Yeah.
But I also bonus based off of what, my transaction average is.
Yeah, so
like, it hurts me. Like, you're taking money out of my pocket when you come in and you're buying just, like, really small amounts of stuff. And, like, I don't really care if you're a nice enough person, but when you're an asshole to me, I don't care. I'd rather not sell you anything.
Yeah, you have some ability to not reward negative behavior, or...
Which is, like, the only nice thing. Because, like, yeah, and I've had people come in, because, like, on their ads, usually in the fine print, they'll say, like, with any other item, because they want you to do that bundle discount. And, like, I'll have people who come in, and they're like, well, why can't I just get it with just this item? And I'm like, because it says right there, with any other item. And they're like, well, that's wrong. That's highway robbery. They're going to lose guests. And I'm like, I don't care, bruh.
At a certain level, neither does the corporate company.
Right, neither do they. They've been around for over 100 years, apparently, without you. That I think they'll be fine. Not that I necessarily like the company, but, like, I think they'll be fine. I'll be fine. I'll still get my paycheck with or without you here, sir. Might honestly get a bigger paycheck without you here.
Honestly.
But yeah, that one's always flabbergasting me. How do you handle difficult customers? Like,
I mean, I guess, what are they looking for? Are they expecting you to look at them and say, I want to punch them in the face?
Right.
Is that what... No, even if that is what you want to do, or what some people would do, they're never going to say that.
Right. Not in a job interview. You're going to be like, well, I would try to diffuse the situation by finding out the issue with the guest, customer, whatever your company prefers. Mm-hmm. And then getting my manager. I'm getting my manager. I don't get paid enough. You are never going to pay me enough to deal with them. Like, honestly.
It's one of the best things about when I move to nights. I'm like, I don't have to deal with customers at all.
Right.
I'm fine. They don't have to... No interaction. I mean, I miss it because I like human interaction. And I have, like, our regulars, and I'm like, oh, God, we have so many good stories. Like, so many good people that really mess up all the whenever we have a bad one.
Right.
But...
Well, that's, like, I have some regulars who come in, and they're always super nice. And, like, I have especially 2 guys who come in. 2 separate guys. But they come in, and they spend a lot when they come in. They only come in, like, once a month. But they're always so nice, and they're always super sweet. And, like, the one guy came in towards the end of the month, and he was like, I really just need a couple of things I forgot to grab for my wife whenever I was here last. I'm like, yeah, it's a really shitty sale. It takes a hit on my AT, my average total. But, like, I don't care. They're nice. I know they're going to be back and bump me up and give me another bonus later.
They're worth it.
Right, they're worth it. And they're nice. They're so freaking nice. Like, because he had only bought, like, a couple of things, which was really low, which whatever. But then, like, he was leaving, and him and I were talking, and what was it? Oh, because I was talking about my coworker and I were planning on getting lunch whenever he was in. Mm-hmm. And we were trying to figure out what we were getting for lunch. And he's like, oh, what are you guys going to get for lunch? And we were talking and all that. And he was like, we were going to get from down the street. There's a Subway right down from us. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, I think we're just going to get Subway. Like, I don't want to cook anything here. And we don't really want anything, like, super greasy. We'll just get some subs. And he was like, oh, okay. And I was like, I'll probably go in late. I was like, I'll go and whatever. And the dude comes back, like, 10, 15 minutes later. And he bought us a $50 gift card for Subway. He's like, here you go, lunch is on me. And I was like, dope.
That's so nice.
I was like, what the heck? Like, he's so nice. And, like, the other dude, he had come in this month because we had a 50 off sale. So he was in for that. And, like, he came in and he bought a bunch of stuff, whatever. And he was like, oh, you know what? I forgot that $20 reward card that I had. And he's like, oh, whatever. I'll just get it next time. And I was like, I'll just give you another one. Just bring that old one in next time and use that. Yeah. Like, just make sure you use that one. But, like, because we get a stack of them by the register to hand out when people, like, because there's an ad that they have out that if you do a certain order amount, you get the reward card. And he was like, I forgot it the last time he was in. Like, this time. I was like, I'll just use one of the ones I have at the register. Just bring yours in next time. Nobody's going to know. Nobody's going to care. I'm the only one who, like, keeps track of the numbers on them. Corporate doesn't care. They just see that a reward card was used. Yep. They really don't care. Like, there's no way to track who got them handed out to them, just who uses them.
Yeah, so
it doesn't matter. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, I don't care.
And that's the little things that are, like, just good service.
Right. And then he went and he was like, you know what? I think I'm going to grab a pack of these today. I wasn't going to grab them, but I'll grab them today anyways. And I was like, okay, cool. That just brought your order back up to where it was without the $20 off.
Like, then you not just throw another $20 on it.
Right. He's like, whatever, I'll just get this. And that helped my sales so much more. Like, so it really depends. Because, like, the good customers are so much better than the really bad customers, but sometimes those, like, shit customers just outweigh them. Because they're either so many or they're so fucking bad.
A shit customer definitely has the ability to ruin a day faster than a good customer has the ability to make the day better.
Yes.
I always try and think about that because I know that's true. So whenever I would have a good customer, I would ride the high of a good customer
as far as you could.
For like, I would try and get at least a day out of it, like a full shift. I would be like, all right, look. I had this person 2 hours in. That means there's only 6 hours left in my workday. Right. I'm just going to, whenever I have a bad customer, I'm just going to think about how nice this person was, how they were in a good mood, all this stuff. And then, like, just hopefully that gets me through the day. Right.
I will say, like, yeah, like, bad customers definitely ruin your day. I think good customers sometimes help to make the job bearable.
Yes.
Because especially with me, like, I only work a couple days a week. So I'll, especially when it's during certain sales that I know, like, my really good customers come in, I'm like, oh, maybe I'll see them today. Like, they normally come on Sundays around this time. So I'll be like, especially if we're dead around that time, we'll be like, maybe they'll pop in and I'll see them. And then if I see them and they're super nice, like, so like, it just really depends. I think, yeah. But like, I don't know what they expect whenever they ask what you're going to do with a difficult customer.
When I was a cashier, at a grocery store, having those regulars, like, I would work every Sunday morning, and having those regulars that were like, you know, they would go in early to church and then they'd go straight from church to go shop, and like those regulars that are always, you know, usually always in a good mood, or just there's so much they carried me through that. That was always my favorite day to work, and everyone was like, oh, Sundays are the worst. And I'm just like, no, not if you're here with the right people. There's a right vibe. It's just, you can just ride that. Right. And it's just,
I don't know why so many people hate working Sundays. I like working Sundays over at my retail job. I like them. Mm-hmm. Granted, they are a little slower for our store, but, like, even still, like, it's so weird. So, like, the newer kid is working Sunday mornings lately. Mm-hmm. So, like, because I used to work Sunday open to close, which isn't that bad. It's like 10 hours. But so the newer kid...
It's not that bad. It's just 10 hours.
Okay, but it's 10 like... really slow hours, because Sunday is a really slow day for us.
That like, would be hell for me.
See, but I get so much other stuff done. I'm able to clean. I'm able to organize the freezer. I'm able to get lunch without worrying about somebody getting to the door. And I go in usually a little bit earlier than I need to, because that way I can stop at the grocery store that's near us, buy some snacks. I have snacks for the day. I have drinks for the day. And, like, also I work on shit like this. Mm-hmm. Like, I just take my computer, I'll take my bag with me, and I'll just work on stuff like this in the back. Because, like, I don't have much else to do, so I basically get paid to do my own stuff. Which is nice. And then, but, like, I always have, like, a really great sales record on Sundays. But the kid's been working mornings, and, like, he only, like, 1 out of, like, the 3 or 4 mornings he works does he ever have, like, a good morning. And I'm like, how? How? Like, why are you only averaging, like, $90 in sales when I can average, like, $150?
It's personality gap, probably. Yeah. Like,
dude's like a freaking piece of toast. Burnt.
Oh, gosh.
I mean, personality-wise.
All right, let's see. What are other interview questions that might be asked of me that aren't...
Back on track.
Yep. Do you tend to go on tangents?
Yes.
I don't know how to answer this one.
Okay, what would you do if someone's stealing? I love when people ask me that. How do you handle someone stealing?
I don't think I've ever had that asked in an interview question.
I've had that asked at where you currently work.
That's insane.
Well, I had it at their gas station.
That makes sense for gas stations, right? In my mind,
I think so. It's
people
more common.
Steal more from gas stations than...
I mean, I guess it's more common.
Are they just... I'm always wondering what they're fishing for in my mind. I'm like, what's the worst answer? Like, I'd join them. Like...
I think. Because, like, I don't know. Because, like, I'm always like, well, Because, like, that's the thing. Most places, especially most gas stations I've ever worked, they have a policy. You don't do shit.
Well, okay. I think what they're asking, what they want you to do, because like in my mind, I'd be like, I wouldn't say anything. Like, why bother? But they're like, oh no, would you like they're asking you to tell a manager? They're like, would you tell a manager? I'm like, yeah, I would tell. Maybe I'd tell a manager. Right. I said maybe. I'd probably tell a manager. But what I wouldn't do is like attack them or try and confront them. Right. I'm like, look, we live in America. I'm not trying to.
I don't know if they got a gun.
Exactly.
Or a shank. Or whatever the fuck else they have.
I'm definitely more scared of a gun than anything else.
Honestly, I'm more scared of a taser.
Or what drugs they're on.
Fair. Oh, the amount of, like, needles I've cleaned out of gas station bathrooms. Oh, so many needles. Mm-hmm. So many drugs.
Yeah.
Thank you, America, for your drugs. I'm really tired of having to do biohazard cleanups.
Tell me about it.
Because they're considered a biohazard. Because I don't know what you got.
Yeah, I mean, you get to wear the Sharps gloves.
Man, and like, okay, so whenever I worked at...
With me?
Whenever I worked at the company's gas station.
Oh, yeah.
Whenever I worked at their gas station. So our location had Sharps gloves.
Oh, no. The air quotes scare me.
Because they weren't the company's regulated Sharps gloves.
Oh, no.
They were just the location manager had gone and bought in, they were cut gloves.
Okay.
They were cut gloves that we had from the kitchen. He bought an extra pair for the Sharps gloves.
Okay.
And, like, cut gloves are great.
Not great for needles.
They're not great for needles. They're still, especially because our cut gloves are, they're not knitted fabric, but, like, they're cotton.
Oh.
And so they still have the holes in it. It's just that they're resistant to the cut and you don't get cut. Yeah. And they have a little extra padding in there. Mm-hmm. But that padding doesn't matter when it's a needle. And he's like, yeah, these are fine. And I'm like, no, they're not. I'm not ever using these.
You just started describing the gloves, and in my mind, it was instantly like, he just went to Disneyland and came back with Mickey Mouse gloves and said, these are fine.
No. He bought a cut glove for a Sharps glove, which are not the same thing.
Yeah.
Depending on what you're picking up, they still work okay. Like, if you're picking up larger shards of broken glass, they still work fine because relatively it's a really similar cutting motion. Mm-hmm. But when you're talking about, like, stabby, pointy things, like needles, no.
Yeah.
It doesn't work the same.
Yeah, it's always a big no-no with Sharps is just needles.
It's just like, it does not work the same.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah, back on track. I don't know what they're expecting with whenever they ask you what you do if someone's stealing. Like,
yeah.
I'm probably taking note of what they looked like, what time it was.
See, I don't even do that. I'm just like, we have cameras.
Right, but that's what I mean. That's why I keep on time.
Maybe I'll look at the time.
Right.
I'll probably be about this time, and like they can watch. They can spend this time looking.
I'll be like, hey, it was around like 3:00, and it was the dude in like a black hoodie.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, with us, I can just choose
and then I tell you can use aisle number, and then I'll just be like, yeah, have fun.
But they don't even our store. Like, they don't do anything about it.
Right.
Like it's like, I don't know. I'm always like, what do you expect me to say here?
Right.
I mean, I'm not gonna join in. I'm not gonna confront them.
Right. I'm not gonna stop them. One, I don't get paid enough to, and two, like,
it's
company policy not to half the time.
Yeah, I don't even think it's a pay thing for me. You could pay. There's no amount of money you could pay almost anyone to just risk. I mean, I guess cops maybe. I'm trying to figure out who else. But even then, they're not. They're responding and they have a gun with them. Like, they have some level of protection.
Fair.
To just confront people for things like that's petty theft. A cop probably wouldn't even want to confront petty theft. Like, it's like $20, $50 even. Like, just throw it. Like, fine, it's a gas station. It's not like they're freaking stealing gas. Right. And that's like the most expensive thing at a gas station.
I don't know, man.
Cigarettes. What's the most expensive thing you can steal that's not like behind a counter or lock and key?
The coffee machine.
The whole machine. I mean, actually, the ATMs is the real problem.
Yeah.
This company is still the ATM, but I'm like, even then, good luck actually getting to the cash.
Grab the whole coffee machine.
This guy has a caffeine addiction. It's like one of those like
the lottery machines that they have.
Good luck stealing that without bringing any notice to yourself. Putting a ratchet strap around a lottery machine.
Oh my god! So my sister used to work for one of the other gas stations that the company owned, And the manager for that location was stealing lottery tickets. He stole like $100,000 worth of lottery tickets.
It's a terrible thing to steal because he stole $100,000 worth of stock and only made like probably 50,000, probably less than that.
I don't remember what he made or that. But
it's got to be less than a third.
It was insane though, because like everyone knew except for obviously corporate. Like corporate hadn't figured it out yet, but everyone knew he was stealing lottery tickets.
Just take a whole book home every time.
Yeah. Basically, he would take like half of a book of some of the like really good ones that he liked, I guess.
Good ones? All relative?
As someone who likes scratch-offs, I still don't understand. Like, there's ones I like to actually play.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, they're an actual game. But I hate, like, the ones where you just grab them and it's like, scratch off and match these numbers. I'm like, that's boring.
Oh, I like those. I just think it's funny whenever I see people who don't scratch the ticket at all and they just scratch the barcode on the bottom and scan it. And I go, you just have a gambling addiction. You could just go to the slot machine and pull the lever and see the pretty lights.
I hated when people did that for games. Like, so, like, my favorite games are, like, the cash words and the bingos. Because it's an actual game that you're playing. And it bothered me so much when I saw people buy them. And, like, then just scratch off that bottom barcode. Because I'm like, you just... Like, even if they didn't win, I would be like, yo, can I play this? And they'd be like, yeah, you can play it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I just want to play the game.
I just want to play a little game. The crosswords are so fun.
Yes. That's what I mean. Like, the cash words. They're so much fun.
But as far as like the dollar scratchers, I like just match number.
Yeah, fair.
Caveman Brain says match number. I can't understand words.
Nope. We're totally off track again, aren't we?
No, it's fine. We're following.
We're relatively.
We're talking about stealing and your coworker stealing lottery machine.
All right.
Lottery tickets.
Okay, last one that we had written down. Do you have questions for us? I love when they ask that because, like,
I keep seeing all these like TikToks of like whenever they ask like, do you have any questions for us? You're supposed to come up with a thoughtful, nice, and I go, I'm not interviewing for a Fortune 500 company or something. I'm interviewing for a baseline retail job. I'm going to hate myself halfway through any shift.
You're not really going to pay me as much as I want you to.
Or you should, because that's how that works.
Wages.
I'm not going to come up with the thoughtful, like...
I don't have a thoughtful question. My question, one of the questions I always ask, which I don't know whether it matters or not, but, like, I'm always just like, yeah, what do you guys do for paid time off? Because, like, that's what I want to know. I am working for you and giving my time to you. How are you going to give some of that time back to me?
Mm-hmm. Some of my business classes, it's, like, trying to, like, we'll get 2 examples of, like, jobs, and it'll be, like, one has, more vacation days but a lower base salary versus one has, and I'm like, what's a salary? But other than that, the other one will be like, less days off, things like this, and I'm just like, you're supposed to weigh these options, and I go, yeah, and they change throughout your time span, your like life and where you are in life.
And what you need.
And what you need. But the problem is they don't change unless you move jobs.
Right.
Once you're there, you're pretty much locked in, unless you're in a situation where you can just go to your employer and go, hey, I need to change this.
Or sometimes, depending on how well your union works, if you have a union, because sometimes they'll renegotiate contracts.
But even then, good luck getting the union to change with you. It doesn't really usually work that way.
I'm not disagreeing with that, but like
even like strong
but
unions.
Like your company policy, like, benefits that you signed on with are going to stay that way unless you have something like a union or that, or your company just rolls out new policies like that you can earn only 40 hours of vacation time and only use 40 hours of vacation time, but you could have 60 saved up.
No shots fired at all. What's the other
that was the last question.
What had other things about questions for us?
I don't get it because, like, I'm not interviewing you. You're interviewing me. I already picked you.
I guess some of the other ones are, like, the things that they're just going to lie about. Like, the things that I'm going to be like, so how can I move up in your business, in your company? And they're going to be like, oh, yeah, we have great opportunities for that. You work here for so long, you can become a manager, or you can do this. And I'm like,
little do you know, managers are just more responsibility with, like, sometimes more pay.
such a
rarely not enough
marginal
pay.
amount of increased pay.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you get $1 more an hour, but now you have to answer the phone and deal with people that are trying
Right.
to kill people.
Well, that's like my manager over at my retail job has been bugging me to become her assistant manager. And I'm like, that's like 50 cents more an hour. I still have all the basic shit to deal with. Plus, now I'm helping you with all this corporate paperwork. I only help you with what I want to now because I have the choice. And I do like my manager. Like, my manager, she's a little pretentious. But, like, she's a decent human being. Like, she grew up way more rich.
Way more bougie, I get it.
Yeah. So, like, her tastes are really bougie. So sometimes the way she talks is really pretentious. But she herself is actually a very caring person. She just doesn't show it correctly all the time. Like, it's the main thing that happens is I'll hear her talk and I'll be like, I need you to shut up because I want to continue liking you in this job.
Yeah.
But, so, like, I choose to help her with stuff now because she doesn't have an assistant manager. And, like, so I get it. But it's my choice right now. If I become the assistant manager, first of all, I don't get a whole lot of pay increase. It's like 50 cents an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And then, two, I have to do these things. I don't want to do these things.
Yeah,
the second you make me have to do these things, I will no longer do these things.
Or there's no going above and beyond. You're just doing the base, and it just feels. And then they are like, "Oh, what happened? You used to go above and beyond."
Right.
And it's like, "What do you mean? I'm doing
the same fucking thing."
Yeah, it's like you lose, and the reward is 50 cents an hour. Like you're not actually. It's such a small amount.
I forget what I saw that it was. But I was reading this one thing where it's. Oh, I can't remember what it is now, but it's basically like. You punish good workers.
Yeah.
Because you give them more shit then and expect more from them. And
it's like a paradox, like a good worker's paradox or something where it's like...
Yeah, I don't remember what they called it, but it was basically like you punished good workers by thinking you were giving them a reward of more responsibilities, more this, more that. Really, you're just punishing them with more workload.
Yeah.
Like, and it's such a paradox on why the fuck do you think people leave? And then, especially because my one coworker and I were talking about how, like, so the retail company I work for, they have a lot of their really high sales reps have been there for, like, 7, 8, 10, 15 years. And they're, like, their top performing sales reps. And it's like, yeah, they've been there for a decade. They have relationships built up with guests there. They have also just tips and techniques that people coming in don't have.
Exactly.
And it's like, but then you get shit for being in the bottom of the pile, and it's like, well, first of all, someone's always going to be at the bottom of the list.
Yeah.
First of all, that's how a list works.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can have your top performers, that's fine, but you're always going to have people at the bottom. That's just how a list works.
Yeah.
Like, and also, like, of course your newer people are going to be down there. They don't know exactly what they're doing yet. Some of them are younger, like, around, closer to my age, rather than in their 60s. Yeah, that's the thing, too. A lot of their reps are in their, like, probably the youngest of the tenured reps are, like, in their mid-40s.
Yeah, that's...
You've been there for decades.
You know all the tricks and, like, everything. Although, the only upside to that sometimes is whenever they roll something new out and all the old people are like, technology, and you're like, ah.
But that's the thing, they don't. Their computers are so out of date. Like, they still have 2 different systems to lock a gift card versus make a sale. It's mind-boggling, and it's so freaking difficult. And then all of the stores that have newer reps are making so many mistakes with it because the younger reps are like, why don't we just have this in one system?
Yeah.
And it's like, because that's not what the company has. And then it's like, well, that's stupid. And it's like, well, that's not what the company, like, that's what the company's decided. And they're like, cool, I'll leave.
Yeah, that's the
thing. Our generations are like, I don't need to stay here.
Yeah.
There are five other jobs hiring right now I will go to.
I'm not one to talk. I've stayed.
You're really not. I'm one to talk. I have about a resume with like 13 different jobs on it for the decade I've been working.
Yeah. I just stayed.
Yeah.
Okay, one that was asked during my interview that I remember that I was like,
what the heck?
Yeah, it was just one of those weird ones where I was like, I don't know how to answer this. And it was like, if a customer asks for help, what do you do? And I was like, if a customer asks for help, what do I do? What do you want me to... How do you... Okay, this is either like a layup or like the dumbest question to ever ask. Like,
Also, I have a question. What are they defining as help?
Like, what do they need? Do I need to call 911? Like, what are we talking about? Like, I'll just help them.
Right. Are we talking medical emergency? Yeah. Needing help out to their car? Needing help finding something?
Yeah, I was like, this is an insane. I'm like, well, yeah, what do they need? Like, I don't know how you expect me to answer this. Mm-hmm. That's not gonna lead to
just either you being insanely wrong or you just having an easy lay. Like, I don't get it.
Expect me to be like, nah, screw that. I don't need customer. I don't care about them.
I'm just going to ignore them and go to the next aisle, put my earpod back in. AirPod, whatever the fuck it is.
Ironically, what many people do, especially at my job. I was thinking of a specific person who would avoid them or just be like, I don't know, I don't work here. And they're like, obviously working.
That would be me. I don't work here.
I don't work here. This shirt's a mistake.
That's like you at the store, is you're just blocking everything. Yeah. And someone comes up to you. Oh, I don't work here. I'm just.
Hey, look, I don't wear red shirts at Target for a reason, or blue shirts at Walmart.
Fair. I can't take you anywhere. Oh my gosh, that's funny.
All right, I think that wraps up
tea time. Last part of this week's podcast that we are going to do is a section that we are going to call Hobbies: How to Lose Money. So each week we're going to trade off each week on who picks their hobby or whatever. One of our hobbies that we spend a lot of money on, and talk about it. You are this week's topic.
I originally pitched this idea of me listing the dumb things that I keep spending money on, and you just saying the word rent in like large bold letters and being like, yeah, I just spend money on like living, and I'm like, oh, I spend money on stupid shit in this case.
That's a very specific case.
Magic the Gathering, which is somehow an addiction I picked up in college, and I did not pick up drugs as an addiction in college. I picked up cardboard that is just very expensive.
Expensive cardboard. Yes. It was the wrong choice. I would have gone with the drugs.
It is referred to as cardboard crack for a reason.
Is it?
Yes. There is, in the community, it is referred to as cardboard crack, where you buy booster packs and crack them, and it was really fun watching the world do this to Pokemon during like COVID, when everyone was like, it's so cool to be in Pokemon now, and I'm like, I still have my Magic cards. There was a card that was pulled that was worth $1 million. Like, I could have made money. That's how we justify it to ourselves.
Sonks.
I still once told myself that I was net up, and then I did a little bit of math and realized that I'm so far in the hole. It's insane. Like, I went and sold a couple cards and made $1,000. I was like, I'm doing so well. I'm bragging about this. And I go, I spent $20,000 in, like, the last... like, that's a car. In the last, like, 10 years I've been playing.
That could pay my rent for almost half of a year.
Yeah, it could have... I mean, that could have bought my car outright in cash. Like, I did not need to be spending all this money on cards. That is just paper. But hey, Hasbro, I like your products. I refuse to buy any of your board games now because I give all my money to you to buy cardboard that's just printed.
I need alcohol.
Yeah. And it's not like it's getting cheaper. In my mind, I'm like, oh, it'd be fine. Like, okay, yeah, the newest set is like twice as expensive as any other thing they've ever released.
You were telling me about some kind of collector's box that they're doing?
Well, recently they've started doing collector boxes, like, in the last, like, 2 years. And it used to be, like, this set that's coming out, by the time this podcast comes out, it's been out. So okay. I need to think about this. But it's, like, 4 booster packs instead of 12 for the same price of, like, $300. So you're getting, like... And instead of 15 card booster packs, they're 30 card booster packs, which means they're just saving on the wrapping, I guess. I'm so confused. So it's like buying 8 booster packs. Hey, they've it's so funny because they're based in Seattle, and so there's like that like crazy. For a while there, they were really pushing, and they just like almost had like no plastic, and I was like, this is awesome, and then they instantly went right back. I was like, dang it.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, so I spent a lot of money on Magic. Now I play Commander, which is a very casual format, which is very, like friend oriented. I actually play. I meet up with my friends on Thursdays and we
Which
play.
Is kind of sad. He still spends this much money and he's a casual player.
I mean, I'm not. I feel like, especially in like competitive stuff, like it's always. I think the type of people that is always very intense all the time, and I could never.
Fair.
I did it for a little bit, and I was like, oh, this is kind of fun. And then I met Commander, and like we could just be a group of friends just talking and doing stuff like this while we...
It's just, again, the idea that it's like you spent this much money on it, and yet you are a casual player.
Well, and
like, imagining somebody... Like, imagining the fact that you're a casual player and you still spend this much money on this hobby, someone who's, like, really serious about this, or who does, like, it as... collecting, the amount of money that would go into that is mind-boggling. I'm over here being like, I just want to pay rent and feed my cats fancy cat food because they bougie bitches.
Okay,
They're babies.
I have my finished, like, prettiest deck, my Commander deck, that's, like, my favorite one that I've, blinged out, foiled out, bought an original duel for, is, like... $2,000. I could just go up to a card shop and get $1,000 for it in cash.
Mind you, side note, those who don't know, because I didn't know what Magic the Gathering even was until I became friends with him, foils are just shiny pictures of the cards that are way more expensive.
Yes, it is. They're just prettier. They do the reflection thing in light. Yep.
And so much more expensive.
Yeah.
Like, so much more expensive.
That being said, I purchased cards, and we're going to open them.
Literally today, we went out to the store real quick, because I had to grab some stuff, and he was with my girlfriend and I. And yeah, we now have cards to open.
All right, bright side, this set, which is going to be pretty old now, but it's Lord of the Rings themed. This is also more expensive because they had to pay for the IP to share with Lord of the Rings. So the card names are all characters from Lord of the Rings, and it's really kind of cool. I know you're like, this is stupid, but...
I love opening the cards. I will say, I love opening the cards. The rest of this is stupid.
That's the thing that's like the cardboard crack, is like opening the cards, brand new, the smell of the things out of the sleeves, like that stuff.
So I get the cardboard crack without having to pay for it, because he just buys the cards, and then I open them.
But there's a person at the card shop I go to that has a deck he calls Bear Force 1, and it's just all bears. And he makes the entire time, he's like, this is getting unbearable. Like, he makes bear puns the entire time. Every time I walk by him and he's playing it, I just roll my eyes and I go, Bear Force 1. And he goes, yup. And I go, I like the deck, but it gets so annoying when you're playing with it, because you're like, I know all the puns already.
Puns.
Alright, so that's my hobby.
Yeah, so that's Magic the Gathering. That's... that.
Yeah...
That's that.
I should have never learned how to play in college. I should have just done more drugs.
Right, just always do drugs, kids.
Well,
Disclaimer, don't listen to me. # not life advice.
Not to spoil any of the other hobbies in the future, but all of my hobbies are oddly overly expensive.
All of your hobbies are so freaking expensive.
Wait, what cheap
What
hobbies
do I have?
I was going to say, wait a second. My other friend has pets as a hobby because they have, like, fish. And I was like, koi fish? That's expensive. She spent $400 on 2 fish once.
What hobbies do I have? Fuck.
You got work. You have a relationship. You have
cats.
Animals.
I have kitty cats. And... now this.
Who's more expensive? Cats or magic? It's cats. No, it's magic.
If you haven't seen the vet bills, it's cats.
No, it's magic.
Fair. That's it for this week, folks.
Don't forget to comment and subscribe.
And come back next week to see what we're curious about.
Stay curious.
Y'all.